on the station that's on your side. This is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
A mother who didn't get a chance to see her son grow up is making sure other parents from Orangeburg don't share the same experience. We'll have more on her highs and lows in her journey. And then overseas, where King Charles takes his oath as the new King of England. See how this historic day welcomed more than 2,000 guests from around the world. But first, we start at home downtown Augusta as they host the James Brown Get Down. It's a chance to celebrate what would have been Brown's 90th birthday this week through fun and music. News 12's Taylor Martin is live at the free event. And Taylor, this has been an afternoon full of music and is expected to last throughout the night. What have you seen so far?
Well, Hallie, over the last couple of hours, this block behind the Augusta Museum of History has filled with people that love good music and James Brown. And as you can hear behind me, there is so much good music going on here, and I'm just going to let you see a little bit of that. Performances by the James Brown Academy of Music people, James Brown merchandise, art, food, and much more, all for the Godfather himself. I spoke with one of the organizers who tells me it's a community business. Brown Office.
It takes a lot of work with a lot of people helping out, you know. First you have to get the sponsors to make it happen, you know, to put the money up to make it a free event. It's nice to see that people still remember and love James Brown, especially his hometown.
And all new on News 12 at 11 o'clock, we're going to be talking to some of James Brown's family members about what it means to celebrate his birthday and his legacy in this way.
Thanks for that, Taylor. And hopefully the weather stays clear for the rest of the evening. I've seen a few clouds today, Mikkel, so we'll take things over to First Alert meteorologist Mikkel Hannah-Harding.
Well, yes, we have seen some clouds.
Lionel Richie and Katy Perry. And there were some who decided not to protest outside of Westminster Abbey. An anti-monarchy group called Republic stood outside with "Not My King" signs. British officers say they prepared for this, sending out warnings yesterday that there would be a very low tolerance for disruptions. They say 4 people were arrested for suspicion in causing a public nuisance. They didn't say if they arrested the group's leader or if they had been released. And back in the U.S., a federal judge sentenced a Capitol rioter from the January 6th attack to 14 years and 2 months on Friday. That's the longest sentence for a Capitol rioter yet. Peter Schwartz, who has 38 prior convictions, said he regretted the riot's damage. However, the Justice Department said that Schwartz demonstrated zero remorse for his conduct. And in addition to the sentencing, prosecutors sought a fine more than $71,000, but the judge rejected it. And an Orangeburg County mother is becoming an advocate against gun violence after she lost her 6-year-old son last year. Winston Hunter was gunned down inside of his home on May 13th during a drive-by shooting. His mother, Courtney, said emotions have been up and down ever since, but she's been trying to keep herself busy. And though it's small, her family used their own money to put up a billboard on Highway 321, asking others what would Winston do.
I want to let people know that they are not alone. What I've been through, I do not want another parent, another grandmother, another brother to go through what we have endured. So I will make this the biggest thing. I will be an advocate against gun violence. I will push, if that's the last thing I do.
She says Winston had a lot of big dreams despite his young age. He loved to dance and spend time with family, and she says they're hoping to expand their billboards to raise awareness for gun violence. And the founder of popular Georgia restaurants, including Mellow Mushroom, has passed away. Officials announced Michael Reeves died last month. Reeves was just 69 years old, and his funeral is coming up next week. Officials say Reeves started multiple businesses with his older brother, Rocky. And hurricane hunters are gearing up for June 1st, the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. This is one of the planes they use to fly into the storms and gather data. Hunters shared their experiences to help others understand what goes into finding and spreading the data they collect. One pilot who's been in the cockpit while heading into the eye of a major storm says it can be intimidating.
It's about like a wooden roller coaster that's in an automatic car wash. So a lot of vibration, a lot of getting bounced around, wind and rain slapping against the side of the aircraft.
Underwood hopes that sharing this will inspire other kids to pursue a career in science or math. Before he became a hurricane hunter, he says he didn't know this job existed, but he can't imagine doing anything else. And an astronaut who was part of the fifth team to land on the moon came to Edgefield County this weekend. Charles Duke was a part of the Apollo 16 crew in 1972. Today, he came to the region to be the Grand Marshal of the Peach Blossom Festival in Johnston. He told the crowd Johnston was his home during World War II, and it's been wonderful coming back to meet old and new friends, talking about what inspired him to become an astronaut. And according to Duke, it started at MIT.
And I met some astronauts, and they were so excited about their job. I said, well, how did I get that job? He said, get your degree and then go to test pilot school, and you might have a chance. So that was my motivation.
Duke took that chance and went to test pilot school, and after he got his degree, NASA announced another selection of astronauts in 1965 with 18 other people. When he got to the moon, his first words were, "We're not going to have to walk far to pick up rocks." And coming up, college students are trying to find new ways to keep responders safe. We'll take a look at how their imagination created a little friend to get their job done. Mikkel?
And we did stay nice and dry for today, looking mostly dry for your Sunday, and heading into Monday, Tuesday, and the most of next week, we're going to see an unsettled pattern develop. We'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast next. For the first 3 days of the upcoming week, those chances for showers do stay pretty isolated, but still there.
And crews can spend hours to days trying to contain life-threatening wildfires across the nation, while also putting their own lives at risk. However, a group of student engineers from Texas are developing a new tool to help. Olivia Leach takes a look at the prototype.
It may look lethal, but this robot could actually help save lives one day. A team of UT Dallas engineering students designed the machine to help revolutionize how firefighters battle wildfires.
This essentially can also be simultaneously controlled from a remote location. And so that will help a firefighter or help someone that can use this robot to attend to the problem while also not being at risk.
The team spent over 8 months coding, designing, and troubleshooting until they got it right.
Very exciting. Seeing the whole robot progress from just bare parts to an actual functioning robot.
Their project sponsor, UT grad Rick Ted, sparked the idea by challenging the students to use the foot pedal control system he invented.
All right, controller on.
Here's how it works. Using the pedal, the students are able to navigate the robot in any direction from far distances away, using a camera as their guide.
We've tested it where we can control it from the end of campus to here.
This means firefighters could get an up-close look at a wildfire without ever setting foot on the scene.
And we hope that it can really just start or pave the pathway to something bigger.
Once the robot gets close to flames, the user can direct it to spray fire-suppressing foam directly on that fire while you're safely at a distance. Although this robot hasn't come face-to-face with a fire yet, this team's work is helping advance firefighting technology. The robot will be used to help develop a firefighting tank that could be used in the field one day.
It's very fulfilling. Seeing that our product is going to hopefully change people's lives and actually have a change in the world.
I'm Mike Costello of the Mike Costello Law Firm.
Summer's here, and with an exciting new Toyota, you can take a trip to the beach, the city, the mountains, the desert, the bayou. I think I'm sinking. Definitely sinking.
Right now, get 2.75% APR for 36 months on a new 2023 Toyota Tacoma. That's just 2.75% APR on the Toyota Tacoma.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
In the future, First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Lexus Acura Infinity.
Imagine this. What if 911 dispatchers could see an emergency as it's happening in that moment? In South Carolina, Oconee County officials are trying just that with new technology. Prepared Live is a video chat program that allows first responders to see the issue before they arrive. Dispatchers can send a caller a link giving them access to their location and live stream from their phone. Deputies say this can be great for communication.
By gathering that real-time intelligence, we can convey to our first responders, whether they be law enforcement or whomever, what is going on at the scene.
Oconee County implemented the new program this week, and it will not be used for every 911 call, but when dispatchers deem it necessary. And now that AI technology is expanding, it's hard to imagine what it can or can't do. On its own, it may not be able to interact with the physical world. But Daisy Caballero shows us how one city is using it to get smarter about filling potholes.
We're excited to see what it can do because it's still fairly new.
Artificial intelligence has taken the world by storm and is now helping Oregon City Public Works locate and map out potholes while driving this. It's a street sweeper with a special camera mounted up front. They're calling it the City Rover.
It's really great because it helps us package all that information up into a form that the crews can then take.
City Rover works like a dash camera and actively scans the road for potholes. It also gives crews every detail needed to patch up the hole.
The Rover device gives you the address, the street address of the location of the pothole, gives you a picture, the date and time that it was taken, and then a street view, Google Maps street view of whereabouts it is, and even a QR code so that you can scan it on your phone. It can tell you exactly where that picture was taken.
Now, all the pothole data the City Rover collects gets uploaded to the cloud and then can be viewed right here, which then better helps Public Works keep track of the potholes within their jurisdiction. Lewis says crews often have 50 to 100 potholes to patch in a day. But thanks to City Rover, they can create more efficient routes to hit more in a given day.
I'm surprised by this technology, how accurate it is.
Shane Husband drives with the City Rover once in a while and believes this device helps crews work smarter, not harder.
I see potholes, every day in the city, and there are many that we don't see because we don't drive every road every day. The only other way we find out about them is if the public calls them in and lets us know. And so if they don't call them in and we don't see them in our normal day-to-day work, then it's nice to know that this camera is picking them up to put them on our list.
Oregon City Public Works is currently testing out the Rover, but are hoping to permanently adopt the new technology.
And coming up in sports, the GHSA baseball playoffs continue. Alyssa Lyons brings us the latest from the Elite Eight.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Best kind of baseball. As the weeks tick by, the stakers get higher, and I know Harlem does too after slipping past the opening 2 rounds. Now in the Elite Eight, they try to pull another one out of their back pocket. Big start for the Dogs against Gordon Lee after picking up stakes in the first and second. The Trojans put one on third, and with a tying run at the plate, a low shot down the bullseye slings one to short, and it's there in time. They keep ahead. Dogs made the same walk back to the dugout again and again and again. And while they were putting tread marks back to the dugout, Trojans were starting a trend of their own. Dogs still managed to keep him out of the doghouse and keep game one 2-1. Over at the Wolfpack, taking on Cartersville, coming off a Mercy Rule win, they were not showing any in the start of game one. Up 3-2, a bounce in the first keeps them there. With 2 outs, the Pack draw back walks to loader on up. They're waiting there, the fans are waiting here, and they just can't get it done in time. Greenbrier drops game one 4-3. In South Carolina, the state playoffs in softball, Midland Valley advances after a big dub against Lancaster. They'll play the winner of Greer and Pickens on Tuesday. We're just minutes away from the 149th running of the Roses. When you look at the starting gate, you won't see Derby favorite Forte. Forte was scratched by the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission after a routine gallop and vet inspection this morning. It was later announced that the thoroughbred had a bruised right foot. Forte is the 5th horse to be scratched from the race, the first time since 1936 that this has happened. The field is now down to 18, Mikkel.
Thank you for those updates, Alyssa. As far as temperature.
And tonight's winning Powerball number, that's going to be 6. And your power play multiplier is 2. Let's take another look at tonight's winning numbers. Remember, there are multiple ways to win. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you back here this Monday night.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, NBC 26 at 11.
Tonight at 11, a homeless man's death is sparking people to protest for justice. We'll talk more into what led up to his death. But first, officials from Texas say there are at least 8 victims dead and 7 others injured from a shooting at the Allen Premier Outlets this afternoon. Authorities say the gunman is also dead. CBS's Olivia Leach reports on how one officer responded to an unrelated call and heard gunshots the next.
Law enforcement rushed to the scene of a shooting at a Texas outlet mall on Saturday.
All of a sudden we heard pop, 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 and I grabbed my kids and ran.
Authorities briefed the public on the incident.
At 3:36 this afternoon, one of our officers was on an unrelated call at the outlet mall. He heard gunshots, went to the gunshots, engaged the suspect, and neutralized the suspect.
We transported 9 victims to area trauma facilities. Those are the ones that we know of.
This man says he was shopping for shoes when he heard gunfire.
We ran to the front after we heard like 20 more pops go off, and there was a guy right across nearby like Francesca's, and full outfitted assault rifle, just shooting at people.
I saw someone with blood on them, and then I ran into the back with my mom, and we just stayed down, hunkered down.
At one point, groups of people were led through the mall with hands up as an apparent precaution. A law enforcement source tells CBS News that FBI and ATF agents are on the scene and assisting local authorities. Olivia Leach, CBS News, Allen, Texas.
A spokesperson with the hospital in Texas says the victims' ages are between 5 to 51. The police chief said it's still too early to have numbers on casualties and said it appears the shooter acted alone.
Well, transitioning to weather now, we are more sunshine in store, but the weather pattern does get unsettled heading into the work week. We'll talk about that coming up in the full forecast.
And a celebration for the Godfather of Soul just wrapped up moments ago. Community members spent today celebrating what would have been James Brown's 90th birthday. Our Taylor Martin got a chance to speak with his family, and they are blown away by how he's touched so many people in the Augusta community.
I celebrate the creative. I celebrated as a black man who was doing this at a very crucial time in our lives.
James Brown's legacy is not only a reality for many, but his daughter says it's a gift.
That's a blessing, because word says that, and even in your own hometown, you can't be honored. But look at the love out here, you know? Look at how many people are out here because of my dad and his music.
Through his music and dancing, younger generations are expressing their creativity and keeping his legacy alive.
I'm just thankful that we can continue doing this and giving children an opportunity to perform and show their talents. That's what my dad would be about. Would be about let that next generation show what God has blessed them with.
A celebration of community for food, art, local businesses, and a lot of soul.
It's always a great turnout, and it means a lot
family says the celebration doesn't stop here. They'll be bringing it to Atlanta on May 20th. The death of a 30-year-old homeless man from New York City is continuing to spark protests. Jordan Neely allegedly threatened passengers aboard a New York City subway and was later put into a chokehold by one of the riders. Now some are calling for justice for Neely, who also struggled with mental illness. Protesters could be seen chanting Neely's name and waving signs with different messages. Reverend Al Sharpton also made a call for action during his network Saturday rally.
This man had a mental issue, and the way you handle that is not to put him in a chokehold and squeeze the life out of him. A mental issue on a train is not to be sentenced with death.
Neely's death has also been deemed a homicide, which is fueling calls for criminal charges in the case. No charges have been filed at this time against the 24-year-old passenger. Iowa officers say 3 people were stabbed during a fight near the University of Iowa campus. When officers pulled up on the scene around 2 a.m., they say several people ran away, and 3 men were left behind with stab wounds. All were taken to hospitals, and they're expected to recover. No arrests have been made, and no word yet onto what led up to the stabbing. In a terrible moment for people at a resort in Colorado earlier today, an air conditioning duct dropped from the ceiling, leaving 2 people with life-threatening injuries and 4 others injured. Lifeguards immediately stepped in to evacuate everyone, and one boy says it felt like everything was happening in slow motion.
While I was in the pool, I just got off the slide, and all of a sudden, all of the metal pipes and stuff fell around everything, and some of it landed in the hot tub where I saw people get in earlier.
The pool area has been closed now, but no word yet on what caused the unit to collapse in the first place. And the Biden administration is sending 1,500 troops to the Citizen Cabinet. The FDA is announcing a recall. Their induction brings the total number of astronauts in the Hall of Fame to 107. And check your medicine cabinet. The FDA is announcing a recall of the pilot brand COVID-19 at-home test. The order says the liquid buffer solution may be contaminated with harmful bacteria. The manufacturer Biosensor Incorporated issued the voluntary recall. Throw the entire test in the trash if you have one, and the company says any direct exposure to the liquid in the tube could lead to some serious illness, but they haven't received any reports yet.
Well, in terms of weather, we are going to keep the pattern unsettled with a chance for rain as we head through just about each day this upcoming week. We'll take a look at that coming up in the full forecast next.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old games are being made right now.
Ask about Wrdw, the anytime, anywhere migraine medicine.
How do we decide what hotel to book?
Fear not, I got you. Choice Hotels has a hotel for every type of stay. Like a comfort with the kiddos.
Spacious.
That's what they all say. Stay twice and get a $50 gift card when you book direct at choicehotels.com.
Investigate TV is here.
You almost seem speechless.
Watch Investigate TV. See our area as you've never seen it before, from above. It's Ariel Augusta. Watch for free at wrdw.com and on the News 12 app, available on your Roku, Fire Stick, and other smart TV devices. First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Lexus Acura Infinity. On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Okay, listen, I'm willing to make a statement. Playoff baseball is the best kind. As the weeks tick by, the stakes get even higher. I know that Harlem does too after slipping past the opening 2 rounds. Now in the Elite 8, they try to pull another one out of their back pocket. Big start for the Dogs against Gordon Lee after picking up sticks in the first and second. The Trojans put one on third with a tying run at the plate. A slow shot down the bullseye, slings one short, and it's there in time. They keep ahead. Dogs made the same walk back to the dugout again and again. And while they were putting tread marks back to the dugout, Trojans were starting a trend. Dogs still managed to keep them out of the doghouse and keep game 1 2-1. Harlem won their second game 7-4 to sweep the series. They now advance to the state semifinals. The Dogs will play Pike County next Saturday. Over at the Wolfpack, taking on Cartersville, coming off a Mercy Rule win, they were not showing any in the start of game 1. Up 3-2, a bouncer to first keeps him there with 2 outs. The Pack draws back walks. That's 3 to load her on up. They're waiting there. The fans are waiting here, and they just can't get it done. Greenbrier drops game 1 4-3, but hold on a second. Greenbrier pulled one over on the Canes in game 2 to force a deciding game. On Monday, the win snapped Cartersville's 26-game winning streak, the Canes' longest streak in school history. In the South Carolina State softball playoffs, Midland Valley advances after a big dub against Lancaster. They'll play Greer on Tuesday. And the Jackets, well, they just stung Westside 17-4. Big, confident win for North Augusta. The Tiger season comes to an end against Batesburg-Leesville. The road also ends here for Bamberg-Earhart. Not the news we were expecting to hear again and not one we wanted to hear. 2 more horses competing in races today sustained leg injuries. Vets at Churchill Downs were forced to euthanize the animals. This comes after 5 other racehorses died in separate incidents over the last week. Earlier today, the favorite Forte was unfit to race from a bruise on his right hoof. Forte was just one of 5 horses that scratched. The last time this happened was in 1936 in the 149th run for the Roses. Mage edged out 2 fills by a length. Prior to the Derby, Mage only had 1 victory in 3 starts. He finished with a time of 2:01:57. It was the first win for jockey Javier Castellano in 16 attempts. So, just before we go, back when the Rays had the worst attendance in baseball in 2017, I think my Redlegs or the A's at this point probably carry that torch now. Willis Harris, the groundskeeper at Tropicana Field, spruced things up between innings, and he's still keeping fans entertained. Now, I think, Mikel, you should start to do this in between breaks. How about that?
And that man got the moves. He got good joints, too. He got better joints than me. I tried something, I might not get back up. But as far as rainfall, we didn't see any of that today. We should say mostly dry for your Sunday, but we'll talk about that unsettled weather pattern coming in one last time in the full forecast, or the final forecast next.
At Checkers,